Welcome back to the Final Fantasy XIV coverage right here at the Comicstorian channel. The playlist for all of the stories before this one will be listed down below, and if you're wondering why we're covering this, well, I'm a huge Final Fantasy XIV fan, even if I can't pronounce things properly at times, and due to that, I felt that I wanted to get caught up with the storyline before our latest expansion, Shadowbringers, drops on the 2nd of July. That's when I realized that maybe some of my viewers also were in the same boat I was. Maybe you've been playing the game since launch and you've forgotten a lot of the key notes and the main story plot. Or maybe you just joined up with your friends and you boosted a character. So we're here to help you out. We've already covered the original A Realm Reborn storyline, the patch cycle of 2.1 to 2.5, then we covered Heaven's Sword, and then we covered 3.1 to 3.5, so now it's time to cover Stormblood. And if you just stumbled in here because you're a Final Fantasy fan, well, let me tell you about our channel real fast. We're the Comicstorian channel, and we like to recap the lore in your favorite video games, comic books, and movies, and we do so in an audio drama, like I'm about to do for you in a second. War has arrived between the forces of the Alliance and the Garlean Empire. Due to the plot of a rogue faction within the Im Legynd resistances to attack the wall, the fighting has escalated. The Warrior of Light, the player, working alongside their comrades within the Scions, fight to contain the situation before the bloodshed can spread throughout the nation of Eorzea. Eventually, the Alliance wins in a stirring victory at the wall, managing to hold the position and digging in to wait on the Imperial reinforcements. It is at this time that the warrior meets Lyse, the Im Legynd, who is bent on freeing her people from the Empire's rule. However, the leaders of the Alliance are hesitant to march into the area to fight the Empire, afraid that they will be seen as nothing more than the invading army. Because of this, the Alliance decides to send the Warrior of Light into the region, accompanied by Lyse, so that they may contact the Resistance and gain their trust. Quickly, the Warrior and their friends set out to the region. The Warrior begins to work alongside the Resistance, gaining the trust, while the threat of the Imperial Viceroy Xenos, the ruler of the region, looms over their head. Finally, as the Resistance begins to trust the Warrior and the Alliance begins to prep for an attack against Valdina, the Garlean stronghold, the Resistance base is hit with a surprise attack by Zeno and his forces, and they are quickly defeated. It is Alphinaud who suggests that they should travel to the kingdom of Doma, another Imperial-controlled land across the Ruby Sea. He believes that aiding the kingdom will actually open another front of attack against the Empire. This will stretch their forces thin, giving our heroes a chance to battle against them. Arriving in Kagane, a vast port city, the heroes are greeted and taken in by the merchant Hancock. The heroes learn of a group of refugees that have arrived from Doma, led by ninja Yagiri and the samurai Gosetsu. Eventually, the party secures passage across the Ruby Sea, and they gain the aid of the blue Kojin named Soroban. The warrior also tries to convince the Confederacy, a collection of pirates, to aid them in their fight against the Garlean forces, yet the pleas for assistance are refused, and it is only after the warrior and his friends, with the aid of Soroban and Gosetsu, help the tribes of the Blue Kojin fight against the tribe of the Red Kojin, do the Confederacy agree to fight against the Empire. Working together, the group manages to free the fishing village of Asari and continue their journey to the Doma Kingdom. Basically, in an attempt to push the Garlean forces thin, they've managed to gain more allies. They eventually arrive at Yanexia, and the group of heroes finds a people that long ago lost the will to fight against the Empire that has been ruling them for more than 20 years. Working alongside the ninja Yagiri, the party begins to search for Hien, who is the true ruler of Doma, and he could inspire his people to rise up, but he's been dethroned thanks to the Empire. During the search, the Imperial forces arrive and they begin to force the villagers to repair their machines for them. Angered, Yagiri plans to assassinate Xenos, who is scheduled to arrive soon. The Warrior of Light decides to aid the ninja, and the two are quickly defeated by the overpowered Xenos. Before they can be killed, though, the pair are rescued by the samurai Gosetsu and the villagers, who have finally decided to fight against their oppressors, seeing the resistance brought forth by the Warrior of Light and Yagiri. This resistance begins to move across the country, and the party of heroes sets out for the Azim Steppes in search of the lost Doman ruler. It is there that they find Lord Hien, and they work alongside him to bring the warrior tribes of the Steppes to their aid. With their new allies, the forces return to Yanexia, and they fight to regain control of Doma Castle, now under the rule of the Imperial Viceroy Yatsuyu. laying siege to the castle, Doma is eventually liberated, and Hien pledges his support to the people of Mhigo and their resistance. With the freedom returning to the Doma kingdom, the hero and their party return to the lands of Eorzea, now bolstered by many allies. Working alongside the resistance and the alliance forces, the warrior joins in several battles across the lands, defeating the Garleans in each one, and along the way, Lys is named the true leader of the Mhigan resistance. Finally, the combined forces of our heroes have begun to push into Mhigo, the city that we had lost in the early days of the conflict. The Warrior of Light storms the Mhigo castle, where they face against the Imperial Viceroy Xenos, who merges with the primal Shin Ryu in order to defeat the heroes after they defeated his human form. An epic battle ensues, but Xenos, of course, is defeated, and Mhigo is finally liberated, with the resistance no longer needed. So Lys says goodbye to the warrior and the scions, intending to help rebuild Mhigo and set up a democracy, instead of returning to the monarchy that ruled the land before the Empire's arrival. The Warrior of Light works amongst the people in order to establish a new form of government, despite the fact that the old enemies have begun to spring up within the city. In the end, though, a model to set up the government like the Ishgard House of Commons is established, and the warrior and their party eventually return to Kagane, with the request of their old friend Hancock. There, they learn that the Empire is looking for the samurai Gosetsu, and a woman that matches the description of the supposedly deceased Yotsuya, former viceroy of Doma. Apparently, the woman now has amnesia, which caused Gosetsu to decide against killing her. Though the woman was taken in by Hien, now rightful ruler of Doma, she is requested as a part of the prisoner exchange when the Imperial envoy, Ashi, arrives to broker peace between Doma and the Empire. In the end, it's revealed that Ashi actually works for Xenos, who isn't quite as dead as everyone thought. And when he returns Yotsuya's memories to her, she transforms herself into the primal known as Tsukiyami, and she kills the envoy. Now acting as a Doman envoy, Alphino travels to the Imperial capital with the intentions of investigating if the Ascians have infiltrated the Garleans. However, the Garlean soldiers attack his ship while traveling through the Burn, a region that once thrived, though now is a wasteland. The warrior learns that Xenos has apparently traveled throughout the Empire's captured lands, intending to stop any future states from rising up. And it is believed that the former viceroy has been possessed by an Ascian, though no one knows their true motives. Learning that Alphino never arrived in the Garlean Empire, the Scions go out into the wastelands to search for their lost friend, yet they find only the remains of his crashed ship. The Alliance begin to meet, planning on beginning a new power struggle within the Empire to further weaken their forces. The Scions are then hit by magic known as the Calling, leaves them all in comas, leaving only our Warrior of Light awake. It is then that the warrior meets the one known as the Shadowhunter, a Garlean who leads a group of Ascians hunting mercenaries. The Shadowhunter arrives, revealing that he has taken Alphino within his care and that his true identity is Gaius, the Garlean general that we had thought that we had killed during the Praetorium's destruction. Having survived, he has sworn to kill the Ascians for what they did to him and the men under his command. So Gaius then informs the warrior that the Ascians have created a poison gas known as the Black Rose. The Warrior of Light accompanies the Alliance as they begin the talks of peace with the Garlean Emperor Galvus at the border between the Empire and Eorzea. It is here that the truth of the Empire is revealed. Varius' ancestor, Solus Zas Galvus, was actually an Ascian, and they were the ones who actually began the entire Garlean Empire. The Emperor believes that by uniting the world under the Empire, it is the only way that they can defeat the Ascians, yet the Alliance refuses and prepares themselves for the Garlean attack. The entire time, the Alliance had hoped that by convincing the Garlean Empire that they were under the control of the Ascians, that they would want to halt their attack, but sadly, that is not the case. They are fully aware of the Ascians, and they are hoping that this will work out. Eventually, the warrior must face against the Ascian known as Eldibus, who manages to land a death blow, and the warrior awakens in a dark plane of existence, where he meets the person who claims responsibility for the calling. The mysterious figure explains that the warrior is needed to save the first reflection of Hydaelyn from the flood of light, and he informs them to look for a beacon at the base of the Crystal Tower, a location that we have not seen since A Realm Reborn during its raid sequences, in which we had to go battling against the inhabitants of the Crystal Tower. With these words echoing in their head, the Warrior of Light suddenly awakens within the city of Ishgard, and their friend Emmerich tells them that the Azure Dragoon, a Stynian wormblood, saved them from certain death at the hands of the Ascian, with an understanding of their new quest to stop the flood of light from corrupting Hydaelyn, from destroying Hydaelyn. The warrior sets out with the remaining allies to find the strange beacon the stranger told them about. And that should have you fully caught up until you go to Shadowbringers. Now, I intend on streaming a ton of Shadowbringers when it drops, but if you ever want to join me, I'm on the Cactuar server. I will place my character name beneath here right now. I also run a free company in which we do community events on a pretty regular basis, and we do raiding. You can also find me streaming this game on Friday mornings and Sunday mornings guaranteed, and then I go live on certain evenings of Saturday, Sunday night, Monday night, kind of whenever I'm free, but my guaranteed days are Friday and Sunday morning of Final Fantasy XIV. When Shadowbringers drops, you'll be able to find me playing it pretty much 10-hour days on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/eligiblemonster, and I hope to see you guys there. If you want more gaming stories, let me know. We are already working on Devil May Cry, God of War, and the Assassin's Creed in a very similar fashion. And we are also working on bringing you more gaming-oriented comic books to allow you to get caught up on the worlds around your favorite video games. On that note, I will see you guys later, and if you want more of this, I hope to continue bringing you video game storylines every Saturday, so subscribe to our channel to get those. I'll see you next time right here.